At 6:30 a.m., air raid sirens were activated in southern and central Israel in response to Hamas missiles. Concurrently, Mohammed Deif, the leader of the Hamas military wing, announced in a 10-minute recorded message published online the start of Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, urging Palestinians to attack Israeli settlements with whatever weapons they have. At 7 a.m., the Supernova Music Festival near the Reem secular kibbutz was attacked by Hamas militants, some of whom arrived via motorized paragliders. Of the approximately 3,000 to 5,000 people at the festival, at least 260 were killed and many others abducted. 40 minutes later, the Israel Defense Forces confirmed that Hamas militants had entered southern Israel and asked residents of Sderot and other cities to remain indoors. At 8:34, Israel announced that it had begun counter-offensive operations against Hamas. The next day, Israel officially declared a state of war under Article 40A. The declared goal was to eliminate Hamas military capabilities and end its domination of the Gaza Strip. This was followed by the evacuation of Israeli citizens living in the vicinity. To fight Hamas, 300,000 reservists were called up, the largest number in Israeli history. In total, Hamas killed more than 1,200 Israelis and citizens of other countries. More than 240 were taken hostage. On October 9, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant announced a total blockade of the Gaza Strip, which includes cutting off electricity and blocking the import of food and fuel, adding that we are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. Since the first day of the war, Israel has resorted to the tactic of massive bombardment of Gaza. Dozens of strikes were carried out daily against the places where Hamas militants were allegedly located. As a result of the intense bombardment and high population density, civilians were the main victims of the bombardment. The daily number of Palestinian casualties began to be measured in hundreds. On 13 October 2023, the Israel Defense Forces ordered all communities north of the Wadi Gaza, including Gaza City, to evacuate southward for their safety in anticipation of an impending ground invasion of the Gaza Strip. On October 16, President Biden, in an interview on 60 Minutes, said that an Israeli occupation of Gaza would be a big mistake, adding that he was confident Israel will act under the rules of war. On a same-day, Israeli Minister Gideon Sa'ar stated that Gaza must be smaller at the end of the war. On October 17, an explosion occurred at the Al-Aqsa Arab Hospital, where thousands of displaced Palestinians were seeking shelter. The IDF claimed that a Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket attack had failed, whereas the Gazan Health Ministry claimed that it was an IF airstrike. On October 28, after 3 weeks of initial Hamas's attack, Israel began an invasion of the Gaza Strip, launching a large-scale ground assault on the towns of Beit Hanan and Be'eri. The plan was to cut Gaza Strip in two and to completely encircle the northern part. A week after the start of the ground operation, Israeli troops successfully completed this first stage and continued to advance into Gaza City. At the same time, Hamas militants continue to actively use underground tunnels and conduct unexpected ambushes on the IDF. On November 9, Israel agrees to daily 4-hour pauses of military actions to allow aid into certain regions in northern Gaza and to allow civilians to evacuate. In the first month of the war, more than 1,200 Israelis were killed, most of them during the initial attack on October 7. At the same time, according to the Palestinian side, the war claimed the lives of more than 11,000 citizens of Gaza, 4,500 of whom were children. The war is still going,